Okay.
Um,
Commissioner
I-
Sullivan.
Thank you. I got an email from Alicia Temple from she's from the Oregon Law Center, and she was just letting me know that the House Bill 2614, in the debt-based driver license suspension, is now moved into Ways and Means. And so perhaps when we have, and she also forwarded and I can forward this on to everybody, but she also forwarded a letter of support from Commissioner Hall. And so we never got one written up, so let's get one written up and send it on to the Ways and Means, and then when we have our phone call with Senator Johnson, maybe we can just remind her that we are supporting House Bill 2614.
That would remove the penalty for driving while poor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
That's the issue.
So,
So are we all in agreement with that?
yeah, we already had agreed to that.
That's what I thought.
so.
Paul Williams might have a different point of view. Sheriff Bergen might have a different point of view. Maybe we should listen to them first. Not to put you on the spot or anything, Paul, sorry.
There was a time, and I'm taking us back to the early point of my career, which we had the tool of warrants being issued when people refused to comply with the courts, refused to pay fines, or refused to show up. That got taken away in the early 2000s, and it was replaced with the possibility, with about the only thing that could happen was if you refuse to show up to court, if you refuse to pay the fine, then the courts could suspend your license. There was a period of time when we got to put little zebra stickers on your license plates so that it would give us the right to stop you because, again, you were either suspended, uninsured, refused to pay fines, or refused to show up to court. That was removed in about 2008. So one thing that you will be accomplishing is removing any form of consequence for individuals who refuse to show up to court for traffic violations, refuse to pay the fines. There will be no further no consequences whatsoever. I'm not saying that is the best way of doing it because the motoring public who are going to pay the fines, pay the fines. If the motoring public who is going to show up to court is going to show up to court. Every now and then you'll get the person that just forgets that I had a court date. They get noticed by the courts and DMV, oh, by the way, you're about ready to get suspended. You need to take care of this or you will be. It won't change the behavior of the individuals that just aren't going to participate. They aren't going to show up. They aren't going to pay the fines. Another driver's license suspension, I could pull up a record and the person's been suspended 20 times. It's not changing that person's behavior. So I'd ask that you take that into consideration because that is one of the last things that the courts, the power that the court has for violation level matters. You also have the same thing for, that's one of the few things that, and that may be going away also, it's one of the few things for, like my son, if he chose to go out and drink, or if he chose to go out and smoke, or if he chose to go out and do a multitude of other things, that's one of the things, one of the tools they use to correct behavior is, hey, you lose your driver's license for 90 days.
Well, I don't have a problem with losing the driver's license for 90 days. It's the 20 years that
No,
is
yeah, that's
problematic for me.
No, I agree. I mean, if they haven't corrected it in the first couple of years, they never are, so. I mean, that seems pretty asinine. Not to mention you keep all that money on the books for all those years, and it's just a liability sitting out there for no real purpose because you're just not going to get it.
It's just not a good bill.
So maybe they need to amend it. I don't know. I just, I think that the other side of the question is if they can't afford to pay it and then they can't drive, that they're not going to be able to, they're never going to be able to, if they can't get to a job, they can't pay the child support, yada, yada.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, and honestly, as an example, a person who's suspended, I personally had the policy every third time I stopped you, I'd give you a citation because
3
it just
strikes.
seemed ridiculous. The system is fairly broke. You do have, what I would like to see occur is to give the authority back to the judges so that they could make those decisions based on individual circumstances. And that's part of what's changed over the course of time also is, the one size fits all, it's your third citation, in the last 3 years, you're going to get this and that, and we're done. So giving the ability back to our judges to have some independent decision-making would be more useful, because then the people could come in and plead. In fact, you've got case law that we can't fine people when they can't pay. I mean, there's case law out there all up and down our appellate courts with regards to just that issue on the criminal side of issues. I don't know that it's too much with regards to violation level issues, but on the criminal side, they have to take into account their ability to pay. So that would be another way of addressing it, is giving the judges some more authority when it came to that type of issue, that they could just look at it from an individual perspective, because people that are on fixed incomes or are young and have, I mean, most of us are living paycheck
Many
to paycheck.
reasons as there are people.
Yeah, exactly. So giving the authority back to the judge, I think, would be a better fix, because there are circumstances where this operates as a good tool to get someone to comply.
So Commissioner Sullivan, if I could ask, would you be agreeable if, what's your rank? I can't remember.
Chief
I'm
Deputy.
Paul.
Chief Deputy. All right, if Paul worked with our interim county manager to suggest additional language at the end of our letter that, because it makes sense that there be both compassion and consequences. And so if he could amend the letter or propose language to a letter that we could look at, would that work for you?
I will send, I haven't written the letter yet, so I can send you the copy of Commissioner Hall's letter. And because I would be using that as a, as a model template, so I'm okay with that. And I think we can ask Senator Johnson what her opinion is, although I have some clues of what it might be.
Well,
so.
but if we're working with our law enforcement, then that addresses probably her concerns, and I share those concerns. I know
And I can
that
also
some
send
people
it
need
by the
consequences.
judges too and see what they say.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
thank you for sharing.
Sounds
Thanks,
good to
Paul.
me.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
input.
It's good to have another perspective.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Okay, then we will move into executive session. So, the Clatsop County Board of Commissioners will now meet in an executive